Sorry about that. I always seem to have I always have to have tea, don't I? So please forgive me for that one. Anyway, I've been planning this video for a while, but because I try and take too much on, I've been sort of procrastinating and putting myself off. I suppose if I try and take on less, I'll probably do more. I'll probably get more done. Anywho, basically, to put it simply, these are some of the groups I wish to support. I was thinking like who I want to support, reasons, including countries and companies and that sort of thing, sports teams and whatnot, why I want to support them, my reasons to support them, how I wish to support them, when and where. But obviously, that would take me quite a while to cover all those sorts of things. I want to do my usual 30 points or even 40-point lists on each of those. But yeah, just before I start my usual list, my usual mad list, I hope you can see the picture over there. I can see it right in the corner, but I don't know if you can see it, which is, as I mentioned before, a picture that was given to me by, I don't know if my mum bought it, but I think it might have been given as a present from someone from the school I support in Kenya, and my mum also sometimes tries to help them if she can, if she has the energy to do so. But yeah, I was talking about them on my Facebook, like the Rare Gem School. But anyway, yeah, so as soon as possible, I don't know when I'll get this done. If not, I'll probably have to wait till January or December or January. But anyway, these are some of the people or companies or organizations, and mainly countries really, and football teams I wish to support, and sports teams in this case football. So anyway, hope you enjoy it, and as ever, I'd love to hear what you think. And as I asked in the opinion poll on the side, hopefully you can see it, I asked in the chat sort of what who do you think deserves, and I also put it in the comments thing, or whatever you call it, the chat comments as well as a poll. Who do you think deserves support and why, and that sort of thing. But yeah, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, cracking on with the plan, with the list of people who I plan to support, companies, organisations, all that kind of thing. Here goes. So number one, I would love to support Italian football as much as possible and fundraise for and just generally support Italian football and help Italian football both at club team level and national team level to be as successful as possible. If you see my other videos, you'll probably notice I do talk about Italian football quite a lot. But if I could organise my time, I'll split my time between the first 5 things I hope to talk about, and I'll split all my ATM, attention, time, money, also my effort, energy, and all that I have into these 5 sort of causes, pretty much. As well as having fun and stuff like that, which I suppose if I call that a cause as well. Anyway, moving on to Celtic FC. I would love to help them to become as successful as possible, especially domestically, but even to have as much funds as possible so they can become as successful as possible both on and off the pitch, including the charity work they do, the philanthropic work and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons why I support them. And I think that's, like, I'd say the Italian football thing is probably my only selfish thing, in my opinion, that I would wish to support. Although there is one other selfish thing I'd do if God gave me the mission. But anyway, moving on. 3, I'd love to promote libertarianism, liberty, human rights, freedoms, and all that, especially, I'd say, libertarianism and liberty around the world. Number 4, pacifism, peace and love. Also supporting former colonies, supporting countries that don't go to war, supporting countries that are more peaceful, and that sort of thing. But yeah, former colonies mainly, and that sort of thing. Number 5, supporting poor people around the world, children, disabled, and also supporting animals and disadvantaged communities, and just basically trying to make life better for the poorer and the most disadvantaged people and animals, and like animal rights, encouraging compassion and humaneness, peace, love, compassion, sympathy, empathy, and that sort of thing. Because of my patterns, today being the 23rd, although it's nearly the next day now, it's 11:15 here in the UK, just gone past. But yeah, today being the 23rd, 23 is a number with my patterns that reminds me of, for some reason, fundraising, but also sympathy, empathy, compassion, and things like that. Number 6, what I call the 6. I've talked about those in previous videos, so I won't go into too much detail about those. I suppose that number 4 and number 6 are kind of interrelated. It's mainly formerly colonized people or emerging markets and that sort of thing. Number 7, spiritual or religious groups, perhaps, like especially the ones who are most oppressed, like oppressed minorities and communities, including Christians, I suppose, in countries where they face persecution and things like that. yeah, that sort of thing. Number 8, people of color, and again, oppressed groups, and that sort of thing against white supremacy, and also, like I say, disabled people and other disadvantaged people, and people, and like victims of abuse and that sort of thing, and promoting peace and love and positivity rather than negativity and hate and things like that. Negativity including hate, of course. But yeah, trying to encourage the more positive things. I say, but yeah, people of colour and coming together, minorities, ethnic minorities, and other groups, like supporting each other, encouraging them to network together is one way I think we could support them. I did forget, I meant to mention the reason why I support these things after mentioning who I wish to support, but I didn't quite remember to do that, so please forgive me for that one. But moving on, so just thought I'd mention that anyway. Moving on, number 9, I talk about supporting what I call the 6, and I would love to support poets, artists, writers, and that sort of thing in what I call the 6, including from, I say, like women, from those developing and emerging markets, like support them to make art, to make poetry and art and writing, and be encouraged to promote their art, writing, and things like that, promote their poetry, art and writing and things like that. And number 10, also young people, the young people, like the youth of the future and that sort of thing. So just like the school I support, Rare Gem, so I hope you, which I hope you'll check out, and that sort of thing. Yeah, so the reasons why I wish to support some of these things, I suppose I could probably cover that quickly. Italian football, I wish to support just because I think I look Italian, and I support them since I was like 14, as I mentioned before, probably even younger than that. But yeah, so I've supported them for more than half my life, so I'm sort of stuck loyal to them through thick and thin. Even though I disagree with colonialism, it's like my one concession to Italy, like even though I don't support them for other things. And the football teams I support, just to keep things a bit more interesting, are mainly like Mediterranean, dare I say, what I call olive skin. I know that's a bit of a prejudice reason. That's why I say it's a more selfish sort of reason. With Celtic, it's because they like have an Irish connection, and the fact they come from a group that were colonised and treated really badly and were escaping poverty, and they do a lot of charitable work, and we're even set up as a charity. Libertarianism, I love to make people as free as possible. I don't like to take their freedoms away and that sort of thing. The fourth thing was like pacifism. I prefer peace and love and stuff like that, positive stuff, and also former colonies, because some people might call me a social justice warrior, but I'm not much of a warrior, so I'll call myself a social justice supporter. But yeah, no, I mentioned these things a long time ago, so apologies to any people who already saw those things. I know I do have a habit of repeating myself, but for any potential new viewers, yeah, so those are the reasons why. And again, if I could, and also like supporting the disadvantaged people and animals, compassion, sympathy, empathy, trying to be as ethical as possible. And yeah, I think it's just, if I was in that situation, I would want to be helped as well. And I suppose it's like the biblical teaching, like helping the lowest amongst you. So that's why I love to help the poorest 10% of people in all possible countries. I don't know what the Bible says about helping animals, to be honest, but I sort of think I love to make the world better for all living things if I could. But yeah, if I could, I would spend 20% of my time, or a fifth, in other words, on those 5 sort of causes. And what I call the 6, really, they are former colonies and also emerging markets, and helping them would help to tackle poverty. And if they network together, it can make the world more peaceful. It could also help maybe to tackle corruption and pollution, climate change, and all sorts of things like that. In terms of spiritual groups that are oppressed, helping the oppressed again. In helping people of colour, as a person of colour myself, I'd like to do so. And yeah, turning a negative thing, hate, into something positive, which can help hopefully unite us together as people of colour and oppressed groups and disadvantaged communities and things like that. And supporting, I think it would be an interesting project to support poets, artists, writers, architects, and all sorts of groups like that in those in like what I call the 6. And yeah, it'd be an interesting challenge to take on that challenge and help them to promote their works, and especially women and that sort of thing. And also 10th thing, helping the youth. They are a large part of the future, and I hope to give them the best possible future and have opportunities I had when I was younger to play and enjoy life, and also hopefully to learn things for their future. So I hope this all made sense, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to hear what you think. As ever, I always welcome your constructive criticism, feedback, hopefully positive points of view, positive affirmations, or any positive comments or encouragement, and also anywhere I can improve, as I say, and also who you think deserves help, what countries you think are most ethical, or for whatever reason deserve the most support, or even companies or sports teams that you like and that sort of thing. And I'm out. Peace and love.